Final segment of the show for today. We're talking to Alana McLaughlin, and she's giving us some information about the black protest movement in America. And during this last segment, she has agreed to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement leading up to not only through the Black Panthers, but to one of the more important figures during her generation, and that is Tupac Shakur. And of course, Alana, let's talk about Dr. King and say something in reference to Dr. King. How did Dr. King fit into the civil rights movement?
Well, Dr. King was born basically raised into segregation, and he believed that he was wrong. He was taught that it was wrong. So basically, his father was a preacher, and he would always say, "Practice what you preach." So Martin took it into his own hands to be like, I'm going to stop segregation. So he made one famous speech. In that speech, he made many speeches, but this one was a quite famous one named "I Have a Dream." And he said he had a dream that his children could be judged by their inside instead of the color of their skin. And I took that to heart, and I started to believe that everybody should be judged both in here instead of by your skin color. Like I don't want to be judged that I'm black. I just want to be judged by my personality. Sometimes I don't want to be judged at all. But you're basically saying that Martin Luther King stood up for what he believed for, like Malcolm X, he got killed for that, and Abraham Lincoln, he got assassinated for that, and John F. Kennedy, etc. So it's basically talking about standing up for what you believe for. And now we can go to the Black Panthers. The Black Panther Party was like a smaller group, but it was like the NAACP. It had the same kind of motto. And Tupac Shakur, his mother, his aunt, and his grandmother were all part of the Black Panthers. So Tupac kind of used that in his music. Like he started so like racism is bad because a lot of children and people to this day still listen to him. They're influenced by what he says. So sometimes he had to be a little careful about what he says because he doesn't want to get too violent in his songs, because people will go out and do the things that he stood up for. And I believe that's very good, because if they're standing up for what he believes in, they're carrying on his tradition. So he will never really be dead. His legend will be carrying on. That's what really means a lot to people. Like all these people that I mentioned that are standing up for what they believe for, and that is awesome. Like children nowadays, that's why I'm here to tell you to stand up for what you believe for. That's what you should do, basically. Stand up for what you believe for. If you believe segregation is wrong, then stand up for segregation. If you believe racism is wrong, then stand up and say that it is wrong. Don't just hide behind your own shell. If you want something done, you gotta do it yourself. If you want it done right, do it yourself.
Well, Lana, I think that you have a great protest tradition behind you, and some of the things that you're talking about. How would you apply that to this whole system of bullying that many of your well, not only your generation, but my generation as well, has been caught up in? People talk about bullying and etc. But how do you feel about something?
Well, bullying is basically when you get teased or beat up or some kind of hurt for no reason. Like segregation, bullying African Americans for their skin color. Slavery, bullying African Americans because of their skin color. The Holocaust, bullying Jews because Adolf Hitler believed that they lost World War I because of Jews. So like there's so many cases of bullying, like Emmett Till bullied, Martin Luther King bullied, Malcolm X bullied, Abraham Lincoln bullied by even his own wife because she didn't believe that slavery should be abolished until after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed.
He had some problems with his wife. His
wife's family disagreed with the marriage because he believed in slavery, and he wasn't just rich like she was brought up. And Abe's family said no because she had a bad temper, and that she believed in slavery, which is something that his old family, his old generation said no to.
And so in a real sense, you're talking about these